The key weigh-in moments leading up to an eagerly anticipated fight are often dramatic, as fighters try to psych out their opponents and often throw taunts while they step on the scales. Sometimes they go embarrassingly wrong. We have put together a video featuring some of the biggest UFC weigh-in fails of some of the most notorious fighters. Let's dive in. Up first, the notorious Conor McGregor. After losing a significant amount of weight, the notorious appeared utterly different from his previous self. Yes, but embarrassing nonetheless for a man who prides himself on looking as polished as the champion. Nothing compared to his bus attack antics at UFC 223 Media Day. If you aren't familiar with the bus antics, we gotcha. McGregor and his notorious friend stormed the event at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn looking for Khabib Nurmagomedov. Upon arrival, they immediately attacked the bus that Khabib was on. A fired-up McGregor threw a dolly through one of the vehicle's windows, causing glass shards to injure two fighters, Michael Chiesa and Ray Borg. For our second UFC weigh-in fail, we have Yoel Romero. Yoel Romero missed weight by a fraction of a pound, and a loss to Robert Whittaker ensued. Romero came into the middleweight championship bout at 186 pounds, but he had 2 hours to lose the extra pound. He couldn't do it. If he had been able to shave or take off his socks, he would have made the weight. Unfortunately, he couldn't do that either. Romero got docked 30% of his purse and lost the fight, not to mention his fight of the night bonus, forfeited because he missed weight. Can you imagine how embarrassing it must have been to fail the weigh-in before your fight because you had an extra pound or two on you? And third place we have Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin Gastelum is the UFC fighter who missed weight by a whopping 10 pounds. It was a real shocker of a weekend for UFC fighter Kelvin Gastelum, who weighed in at 180 pounds for his bout against then welterweight champion Tyrone Woodley. Kelvin Gastelum was forced to fork 30% of his fee to Tyrone Woodley after coming in at 180 pounds for their 170-pound contest. He also had a terrible fight, losing a dull decision on fight night. Kelvin was so nervous before the weigh-in, he was sucking in his gut as he stepped on the scales, but it didn't fool anyone. The scale said 180 pounds, which Kelvin checked in at. Oof. Our fourth weigh-in fail, we have Ian Cutelaba. We all know humans are weak and get sick easily. I mean, even a common cold could kill them. Well, one man is not only strong, but he can heal himself with gamma radiation. This man is the Moldovan Hulk. He is so strong that it takes an entire river to cool him down after a workout. He does not fear anything, including the confines of scientific laboratories, which are just cages. The Moldovan Hulk wanted to look like the monster he was nicknamed for, and he did Fight Night 96. So naturally, he disguised himself as a nerdy scientist. He exposed himself to dangerous levels of gamma radiation. Then he rushed home and he painted his chest green, ripped open his shirt to reveal a rippling set of abs, and snarled like the Hulk at opponent Jonathan Wilson. The crowd went crazy when they saw this newest trick. It wasn't so great to consider how much time he spent washing afterward. At least the Hulk had won by points decision. At number 5, we have none other than Dana White. Well, what do we have here? It looks like UFC President Dana White got a taste of his own medicine during the weigh-ins for UFC 187 in Las Vegas, Nevada. The event was much anticipated by fans who know the stakes are high for both fighters, but it seems that even Mr. White was caught off guard when the two fighters he was set to promote went at each other's throats. The two fighters butted heads, then apparently went for one another as a flustered White leaped in to try to keep the peace. The pair then burst into laughter as White appeared to have wet himself. In our 6th UFC weigh-in fail, we have Johnny Hendricks. Former UFC welterweight champion Johnny Hendricks was certain he didn't make weight for his bout against Paulo Borrachina at UFC 217, so much so that he preemptively explained how it happened, involving the strange coincidence of an identical feature in his underwear. Before stepping on a scale, he gave the media an account of all the reasons that he would be unable to make his weight for the fight. He urged them not to write anything negative about his inability to hit 186 pounds. Then he weighed in at 185.8 pounds, 0.2 pounds under the limit, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Don't go anywhere, because you're just about to find out who got totally naked during a weigh-in and won a fight. At number 7, we have Max Holloway. Everyone was talking about what happened in Brazil at the UFC 212 weigh-ins, so let's talk about it. Max Holloway, then featherweight champion, looks like he could have been a model for anorexia recovery ads, and he was just standing there naked on the scale. His junk was hanging out for all the world to see. Max needs to eat a cheeseburger and then some. We don't want any of this happening again. At number 8, UFC weigh-in fail is Travis Lutter. To say that Travis Lutter's weight cut for UFC 67 was a mess would be an understatement. In fact, the word mess doesn't even begin to describe the train wreck that was Lutter's weight cut. When Joe Rogan himself calls it the world's worst weight cut, you know things went downhill fast. We're not saying that Rogan has never said something stupid before. We all have our moments, but this one takes the cake. First off, Lutter missed weight twice, despite stripping off in a sauna, and saw his dream middleweight championship fight turn into a 3-round non-title fight. Travis, however, had lost so much water weight that he could barely stand. The drain looter didn't make it past the second round, and it looked like we'd never see him in the cage again. Coming in at number 9, we have Rafael Alves's UFC weigh-in fail. Oh no, this was why Rafael Alves was not proud of his accomplishment. The 32-year-old Brazilian was scheduled to fight Patrick Sabatini at UFC Vegas 19, but the event's officials canceled the bout off the card after he tipped the scales 11.5 pounds heavier than his opponent. Alves had made weight the last time that he stepped into the octagon and earned a UFC contract after an impressive performance against Alejandro Flores at Dana White's Contender Series in August of last year. Though Alves blames his weight gain on a salmon-eating binge and a subsequent need to guzzle gallons of water to counter the effects of food poisoning, it's no secret that the poundage has caused him problems with his weigh-in. Our 10th and last UFC weigh-in fail is Mackenzie Dern. After a string of embarrassing flubs on the scale, Mackenzie Dern may finally be getting some things right. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu veteran Mackenzie Dern entered the octagon as a strawweight as part of the Ultimate Fighting Championship in 2018. She won her UFC debut for the strawweight title on March 3, 2018 in Las Vegas. Dern's fight against Ashley Yoder was a split decision, and Mackenzie Dern weighed in 7 pounds over the limit for her second octagon appearance, but it didn't slow down the 27-year-old from showing why she was one of the most decorated jiu-jitsu stars in the world, submitting Amanda Cooper in 3 minutes by rear naked choke at UFC 224 in Rio de Janeiro. Since then, Dern has been in 4 UFC fights and has successfully made weight in all of them. The Brazilian-American last fought Verna Jandiroba at UFC 256, whom she defeated via unanimous decision. She was expecting to face a returning Nina Ansaroff on April 10, 2021, barring injuries and losses from other competitors. UFC weigh-ins gone wrong, or why we learned it's better to be underweight than over. The weigh-ins are an important part of the UFC event. One would think that every fighter would be on point and do everything to make the weight limit, but that is rarely the case. The hilarious weigh-in fails will have you yelling WTF at your screen. Even Dana White gets a kick out of some of these moments. So you want to know how to avoid getting caught up in the drama and madness that is the UFC weigh-ins? Bottom line, if you want to avoid all the drama, come up with an easy weight cut strategy before the fight, so your weigh-in day will be worry-free. It may also help if you make sure you have a scale readily available the day of the fight. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Click the bell icon to get notified whenever we release cool videos just like this. Bye, guys.